And don't be offended. I'm going to mute all of you. Just always worry about like, because sometimes people will unmute themselves and I'll remute them and then they unmute. I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to offend you. I just need to do that.
We just need to do this. Yeah. You don't want just for somebody to come busting in your office and say something that's really embarrassing or
Yeah.
something.
Over the years, we've had some
Oh,
surprises.
haven't we all learned those things? Oh my gosh, yes.
So fun. Hi, ladies. It's so good to see
Hello,
so many of you back.
everybody. Great to have everybody
So
on.
fun.
I got a couple of my girls on here.
Yeah,
Hi, I see
I love
Caitlin
that.
and I see Dawn. I might be missing a few, so if I don't see you, if I don't say your name, it might be that I don't see you. I'm going to be talking about your stuff a little bit today, Michaela. I'm Y walking today.
Okay, I know. We'll give it one more minute and we're gonna go because like the floodgates start opening up literally on my show.
That's all right. It's all good. I love it. It's just such a great, I was just talking to interviewing a gal today, sharing the business with a gal today and just sharing the relationships and the connection and the family that we all have, even though we don't know each other, like, even
Yeah.
though I don't know many of you on this screen, or we maybe walked past each other at a seminar or a career conference, maybe, but we maybe seen each other's names in an applause or whatever. We're
Yes.
still family, and it's just such a great community, such
Yeah.
a beautiful community. A rare, it's a rare thing,
Yes. Especially nowadays. It really is.
a rare
Okay.
thing.
Let me get these last girls in real quick. It's the same ones. Wonder why they're not going through. It just keep must be them.
Wi-Fi, it might be their Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I was like, must be them. Because I'm like, that's weird. Why it's not connecting them? But
I'm
anyway,
gonna be sipping on my, I,
do what you gotta do. Gosh, you have to do that. You don't feel good, friend. Just roll
yeah,
with it.
I'm
Well,
just so happy I turned the corner. I'm like, yay, I was like,
yay!
ah, come on, I can do it.
When you get a little bit of energy, you're like, yes.
Yeah.
Here we
You
go.
know how like when you've been sick and you've been sick and you've been sick and you're like, okay, any day I'm gonna tell I'm on the mend. And so today
Ah,
was that day, and I'm so glad to be able to be on here with you because this gives me energy. It takes a little energy to look cute when you're not feeling good, but this gives me energy knowing that you all are on here and wanting to learn and wanting to wanting to learn, but also wanting to apply what you learn. In fact, pull something out of here, see if I can find this. When I said I used this on my meeting the other night.
oh, okay. Okay, I'm getting you all
Yes.
on here. If you don't know, if you're all new, I know some of you, I think Stephanie said some of her people are new. We do
Yeah.
have a Facebook group. It's called Lunch and Learns, and it's a picture of Mary Kay Ash from like back in the day, Applause magazine. It has red on it. It is recorded. We put it on YouTube. It's my name, Jennifer Enlow, for the YouTube. If you're, it like literally, I don't know how many years it's been, 3, 4, I don't even know at this point, all of them, so you all can check back and see them. Anybody can be on this. So any division, anybody, we even had some corporate people on one time. They were just hopping on because they knew we were doing it. And so it can be from brand new all the way to national. We don't care. This is a safe haven of anybody and
Yeah.
everybody. And I
That.
love that. So when we have our beautiful speakers, know that they really are doing probably the most go give thing, because they're not just feeding into maybe some of their people, but sometimes their people aren't even on here. It's just for the Mary Kay world. And so, Stephanie, thank you for taking
My
your time,
pleasure.
especially when you don't feel good. Um, Giving back to so many people. I love that we can help each other in our lives. And like you said, we're family. Even if we
Mhm.
haven't met eyeball to eyeball yet, we're all family. And so I love that. And it's such an honor. Stephanie is a really big deal, just so you know, if you didn't know. And she's a real deal. And Stephanie, so many amazing things were said about you when people are like, you need to get Stephanie to be your speaker.
That's
And I
sweet. Thank you.
said, I will reach out to her. I would love that because we haven't had the honor of
Yeah, we haven't
meeting
met.
yet. So we just haven't had that. But I'm so grateful for your go give heart and to be willing to feed into so many women and be part of our amazing lunch and learn, and all of you for hopping on here every Thursday. It's always on here and sharing with the Mary Kay world. So they have a place to go. And so, Stephanie, I'll be quiet. I'll run the back office and I'll let you take over, friend.
Sounds good. I'm going to set my timer right this second so that I am making sure that I am, no, that's not what I want. So that I can see where I'm at on my time. Make sure that I don't go too long because I love to chit chat with you all. You know, I was thinking as you were just saying that, Jennifer, thank you so much for those kind words. And I was thinking that, gosh, you know, I started my Mary Kay business 34 years ago last month, and I was a special education teacher. I was 25 years old. You know, all the insecurities, all the hangups, you know, educated woman thought that I was educated. So, you know, this was so beneath me. I mean, I just was not, I was a piece of work. And a lot of that was just inside me, you know, just me, you know, being 25 and growing up the way I grew up. I have a great family, um, not a faithful family. Mary Kay brought me an understanding of faith in life and brought me Jesus. And so I'm forever grateful, eternally grateful for her example. And when you were talking, I was thinking, gosh, I've always been an adoptee. I've always been an adoptee. My director was far away, and she believed in me really, you know, really was a good director for me at the time. Just really always believed in me so much and always just encouraged me so much and pointed out all the good things, and I'm so grateful for that too. And the ability for the the understanding of the way this company works is so hard for people to, I don't know if people really get it, because here's the deal. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of us. And no matter where you go, if there's a Mary Kay consultant or director or whatever, there's always somebody that will welcome you. Like if somebody says, "Oh, I do Mary Kay," it's like, "You do? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited." So do I. You know, there's always that. And and the adoptee system is so unique. It's just such a precious part of who we are. And I know that a lot of now that we have so much virtual, we don't do as much adopting out, but I always went to somebody else's meeting until I was holding my own. So many people in the Mary Kay world just breathed belief in me, taught me so much. And I came across this, I wanted to share this with you guys. I came across this book. This was 19, what did I say? Was it 1993? I think it was 1993. Yeah, 1993. There is this like literally like a, you know, you can see the copies of this came out of Mary Kay's notebook. This came out of Mary Kay's notebook. And so there's all you can see that they just took the pages out, copied them, had them bound for all star consultants. So this is a letter from Mary Kay. If you were a star consultant that quarter, you got this book, and it's just filled with her favorites. And she has this beautiful letter. I won't take the time to read you this letter. I read it to my consultants on Tuesday, but in my meeting, just this beautiful letter from her about our philosophies and reminding us and how grateful. You guys, I do have to read one thing to you though, because here's the founder of a company in 1993, been around 30 years by this time, right? Is that right? Yeah. Um, yeah, do the math quick. She says, at the very end, she says, to those who first spoke or wrote the words, I owe a debt of gratitude. So she's talking about the people that have the words in here, but more especially, I owe a debt of gratitude to those who translated these words into action, to those who made my dream come true, the star consultants and Mary Kay. It is to you that this book is dedicated. Thank you from the bottom of a grateful heart. I hope you will enjoy this collection of thoughts and ideas. We've made a good start on my dream over the past 30 years, but it is my dream that our company and its philosophies will go on forever. My greatest dream is still in the making, and that is that your dream will come true. All my love, Mary Kay. And think about that, you guys. Here's a woman who is a founder at this point of a multi-million-dollar company and now multi-billion-dollar company. She is expressing her gratitude to us and and thanking us for helping her dream come true, which that dream, Mary Kay would say, heard her say many, many times, was a divine dream, right? It was a God-given dream. And so it was a dream that was hers, but it was also not hers at the same time. And it was hers, but it was also ours. And so it's a very interesting, I think it's a really interesting dynamic. Pardon my nose again. It's gonna happen the whole time. Um, but I just think, gosh, what an example that we can live by, to have to just remember how Mary Kay did life and why. So I'm going to talk about why. why she started this Mary Kay business so hard. It was so hard. I can imagine what it was like for her back in the 60s. But I do want to read one little thing out of this book, and then I'll get on my point here. But one of the quotes in here is, wisdom is knowing what to do next. Wisdom is knowing what to do next. Skill is knowing how to do it. And success is doing it. And this may sound very simplistic when I say this, but I used to get really annoyed when directors would say this to me, or even as a director when I hear it. So here I am doing it to you. But you guys, it's in the doing. You know, I know it's like, just do it. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. But it is in the doing. But in the doing, the hardest challenge is where you are now. I know this because it's the same. It's not like, as directors, we're not like, unique to any of these kinds of experiences. We're doing this, we're having the same experiences as you, just maybe at a little different place because we've done more things. We do more. We just have seen more faces, whatever. So the hardest part is where you're at here. To get to where you want to be, there's all this doing in between, and it's our thinking in between the doing. It's the thinking that keeps us from the doing, because we all have insecurities, we have limiting beliefs, we have fears, we have doubts, we have life, we have, we have roots that have maybe not been rooted in fertile soil or positive soil, and we have to unroot those and put them over. There's these the in between parts. It's not just do it. It's the how can I create an environment in my mind that will cause the doing that will help me make the decision to do and then act on the decision. Because one thing to make the decision is a whole other thing to act on it. I bet there's a lot of consultants and directors on this screen that we probably could have the answers for a lot of people that would come to us and ask us questions about the Mary Kay business. We would have the answers, but that doesn't necessarily mean we did the thing. We would have the answer because we've seen it, we've watched other people, but we maybe haven't done the thing, and that can kind of scrape against your it can scrape against our, I'm going to say it that way, it can scrape against our integrity a little bit. It's like, I know the answer, why am I not doing it? I know how to get there, why am I not doing it? So I'm going to address that. I'm going to address the why in between, okay? After I drink my ginger and turmeric tea. Okay, so the things that I've learned over the last, oh my gosh, there's just so much I want to share, because I just feel like, gosh, Mary Kay has just given my life, just blessed my life so much, you guys. I just feel like it's just this huge gift that we have to give. And here we are in a month where we have a $10 starter kit or an e-start, and it's such an opportunity for us to literally give this gift away, to give this gift. And so if we can get out of the way and allow other women to make their own choices and not worry about what other people think, wow, the sky is the limit. Okay, I'm going to talk about why. We've all heard this in Mary Kay. If you've been around for 10 days or 20 years or more, you've heard about your why. You've heard about your why story. You've heard about your sorry, my timer turned off. You've heard about your I story, and you've heard about your why story. So I know that you all have heard this, but I'm going to take you on a little bit of a different journey, I think, unless you're in my unit, you're going to know this. I'm going to give you an exercise that will add fuel to your why. Because here's what happens. We know what to do. We got our contact list. We might even have a chicken list. Now it's time for us to make those calls. Now it's time to reach out to those people to share this $10 starter kit with. Now there's this, or e-start, I keep saying that, e-start. Now is the time to put something in action. And then all of a sudden, all these things start to come into our head. Oh, the dishes, or oh, I'm afraid, oh, I'm hungry. I should probably do that. Oh, I'll do this first. I'm going to go to Facebook for it. And that's all creative avoidance to do what's hard. Because what is hard causes us to get scratchy. What's hard is what brings up all the insecurities. As soon as we start to push outside, that comfort zone, that's when all those things will come in one shape or another. We have to be, one, self-aware enough to recognize what they are, and that they're diversions, distractions, and doubts. And they do not have power over us. I always like to say that you're not the boss of me. Like, that's one of the things I'll say, is a thought will come towards me, and I'll start to meditate around it, a negative thought. I'm like, wait a second, you're not the boss of me. You're not the boss of me. You know what? God's bigger than that. I'm called to take that thought and put it into captivity and put it under who God made me to be, under the power of Jesus, under who is living in me, that's indwelling in me. And that gives me that empowerment, that he's equipped us to be able to do that. And sometimes you have to have a very specific action to be able to take that captive. We have to keep in our mind, in the front of our mind, always the why. Because if we don't make the choice today and we decide, oh, I'm going to let the doubts, distractions, and diversions take me away from not make those choices of bookings. I mean, it really comes down to bookings. That's all it comes down to, right? It's the bookings and the doing, and then the skill will come, like I just said in that quote. In the doing comes the skill. Okay, so if there isn't this, if you don't have a system, if you don't have a action plan when that stuff comes at you, then you're going to stay in a circle. You're going to stay in a circle of those limiting beliefs holding you back. So let me talk about this. I'm going to talk about something called a YALK. And if you want an actual workbook for it, Michaela, who is on here, you can look her up there. I see her right in front of me. She owns a company called the Pink Post Community, and there is on there the YALK, and there's a workbook. If you want more, you don't need to go and get that. I'm just this is just, if you like this and you're like, I want a little bit more, go and check it out. But I'm going to give her the credit for taking this idea that was really also one of my offspring director, Diane's idea, and then many thinkings around it, and then Michaela put it together into something really beautiful. So this is what's called your YALK. And I'm going to fold this a little bit because this is my YALK, and you don't need to read my YALK because it's personal. So I'm just going to put this down here, but you're going to see there's going to be these little dots on the side, and I'm going to talk about each one of these dots. I read this most every morning, not every morning. This slides into my Bible or into my journal or into whatever book I'm reading at the time. It's on the table I sit at when I drink my coffee. So I'm going to I want you guys to leave this today, to leave this lunch and learn today with with an action plan when the distractions, diversions, and doubts come. Because when your why is bigger and stronger, somebody's
trying to calm the roots.
There's a man voice in the back, so somebody mute. Hi man, hi man voice. Sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say. If there isn't some sort of, if you don't have some sort of action plan, if you don't have some sort of, it's almost like sometimes we have to go to battle in our minds. We don't have that when they come. You're going to circle. All right, so let's talk about your YALK. And the first dot of the YALK, which then I filled out with my personal answer to this, is gratitude and mission statement. Now, don't make this overcomplicated, you guys. I've changed mine multiple times. I've rewritten multiple seasons. At the first of the year, I just changed it again. So just think about it. Just whatever first comes to your mind. Gratitude and mission statement. Take time to think through what you're grateful for, to revisit your mission statement. So now, if you don't know how to make a mission statement, or you're not sure what I'm talking about, there's so many just Google that. There's some really great little exercises that you can do to narrow down a mission statement for yourself. But again, don't overcomplicate it. I'm going to get to, as I go through this, I think you're going to see that it really is super simple. So what are you grateful for? I mean, I think about how Mary Kay just wrote how Mary Kay wrote in 1993, what she wrote, and such gratitude. There's so many studies that show that grateful people live longer, they're more healthy, they have richer relationships, they have more meaning and purpose in their lives. All of those things happen with gratitude, come with gratitude. And I can see that so many times in my life when I've been walking in ingratitude. Is that right? Ingratitude. and I can see the fruit that came from that, and then times when I've been truly grateful, and I'm so grateful for this company. So take the time to think through what you're grateful for and revisit that mission statement. And so um, maybe I'll just share mine with you guys. And some of them I may or may not, but on this one, this I will. Gratitude and mission for me is to share the truth about who a person is in Christ Jesus. Excuse me, sorry. To share the truth about who a person is in Christ Jesus, to set people free in their God identity as an NSD and influence of all genres. So of all, not just in Mary Kay, but in all the things that I do, always for me, putting Christ first because of what he did for me. I get it now. Like I didn't when I first, when I first started my Mary Kay business. And I always thought all you guys that were Jesus followers, I thought that was nice for you. That's all nice for you. Yeah, that changed for me. So that's for me. What is it for you? What are you grateful for? And what is your mission? Okay, so why statement is next. So why? Think through your current why statement and what you are working towards. Okay, so digging to your why, I hear people say I've heard people say, my why isn't very clear or whatever. And so I just really encourage you to just keep asking the why question. And if you're a prayer and you're a God follower, Jesus follower, you you have a Father in heaven who will answer your prayers. Ask him and then pay attention, because he will bring things to you that you would have never thought of. We can mill around in our own head, but that's just our limited own heads. But when we ask the one that knows all, he will bring things to us through all different ways. So think through your current why statement. So I know that most of you have probably created a why or a I story, and that's gonna be a good pointer. That's gonna point you towards your deeper why. So here's an example. I'll just use a car as an example. Earning a Mary Kay car. So if you were like, my goal is to earn a Mary Kay car. Why? Because our car is not reliable, and we need a new one. Okay, why will that impact you having a new car versus your old car? We won't have a car payment. We won't have to pay for it to be fixed. When I'm driving my kids all around, I know that it's safe and I'm not going to break down somewhere. Okay, well, why does that make a difference for you? Because it gives me the ability to be the mom I want to be, to do the things that I want to do, to be present at the time, in a time I'm not going to have fear of. Do you see where I'm going with that? And so then how will that make a difference for you? And you go just a little bit, how will that impact the people in your life? Well, they'll see that that mom went after something and she worked hard for it and she earned it. Well, how will that make a difference for the people that you love? Well, those people will then have a role model that will say, when they come to a place in their life, when they're in a crossroads to do something hard, that they'll say, well, I watched my mom do something hard and she did it. I can do that too. And well, then how will that make a difference, for a deeper difference? Well, then they're gonna, maybe at some point in their life, they'll have children, or the people they influence now, those people will be influenced. Do you see where I'm going? It's like deep, you guys. It's deep when we ask those deep questions. You just have to keep going and write it down. So, gratitude and mission, the first thing, second one, why? Go deep, go deep. The second one is the people you'll bless. Now, I kind of went through that just now using a car as an example. You can use anything, any one of your goals. The difference between your goal and your why is your goal is the thing, the accomplishment. Your why goes deeper. Your why will fuel you when you come to distractions, diversions, and doubts. Your why will fuel you. Because when we train ourselves and we start to understand what we do today will exponentially grow in our choices, the choices we make along the way, the good choices that build a Mary Kay business that get you closer to your why, those will exponentially grow, and then we will arrive. It's if we keep putting off another day and another day and another day and another day, not making those choices, then it's further down the road that those whatever that why, whatever that goal that comes with that why, it's going to get closer. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? It's that it makes a difference what we choose today. So who are the people you'll bless that live out when you live out your why? Very specific ways that their lives will be positively impacted by your decisions. I'm a grandma. In fact, my 2-year-old grandson's right there. He just arrived a little while ago, and he's sitting there playing in his sandbox. And I do what I do now for him. I get it even more now as a grandma. And I want to be around for a long, long time, and I want to be healthy and strong and an impactful grandma that has lots to share. So imagine this, you guys. Okay, everybody, pay attention to me here real quick. Think about the people you love. I want you to imagine them saying, thank you for your hard decisions that you made in your life that made a difference for me in my life, that now I understand and want to be a person that can make hard decisions too, and walk out the hard things, the challenging things, and do the things that I'm called to do, not just out of selfishness, but out of service. I've had my sons say that to me. Not exactly like that, but I've had them say, thank you. Thank you for your example. You showed me what it's like. You showed us how to work hard. You showed us how to go after a goal. You showed us. And I'm telling you what, I could die tomorrow and with that, and I'd be happy. But then I'm like, wait a second, I got a 2-year-old grandson. Hi. That is smiling at me, that just expands everything. I want to be that for him. Okay, so the first one's gratitude mission. The second's your why statement. The third one's the people you'll bless. The fourth one is the moments you'll treasure. The moments you'll treasure. I'm going to share mine with you. This is very vulnerable of me. I want you all to know. So this is a moment that I would treasure. My heart's desire has been to be a national sales director for a little while. Maybe at least a decade or more. And whatever reason, not there yet. Whatever reason, but I know that God is good no matter what. So here's my moment. Be on the stage with my grandkids. My kids, my mom, who's still with me, she actually has upstairs, my siblings, all those people that influenced me in my life. To be able to pass on this business when I retire as a national emeriti, to be able to give that to one of my daughter-in-laws. I don't have any daughters, but to my daughter-in-laws. Having the family security plan, and all the giving opportunities that would come with that. And so many lives influenced in a national area. So many lives are influenced under this Mary Kay umbrella. So many. So that moment in my Y walk, in my morning Y walk, I will imagine what that's like. And that sometimes will divert me away from bad choices or not very good choices. You know, there's a difference between or not making a choice. There's all those things, right? Okay, there's 2 more. You ready? So the first one's gratitude mission statement. Second one's why statement. Third one's the people you'll bless. The fourth one's the moments you'll treasure. The fifth one is the person you'll be. I don't know how I can tell you more that this is probably one of the most important parts of what we do is the who we become. Because of who we become, nobody can ever take that away from us. You know, all the stuff, all the rings, all the cars, all the stuff, all of that could go away in a day. And it would be sad, right? I mean, but the relationships and who we are can never be taken away. Oh, there we go. And that's so good, right? You get to see all the balloons, the people and the relationships. With those 2 things, you get balloons because the person you become and the relationships are the most precious, because even if everything went away, who you are still stands, and whose you are will never change. And with those things in place, no matter what happens in life, you can move forward. So who do you want to be? What kind of person do you imagine living the life that you want to live? So when I think about that, I think about somebody who is, you know, I think about character traits like tenacity and determination and generosity and compassion and empathy. I think about those kinds of things, those kinds of things that we want to have in us. So don't let who you are now hinder your imagination. Give yourself all the credit, grace, and assume the best. Walk through a day as your future self. So quite often you might find yourself just reacting to a situation that you've always reacted in a certain way. And you might just be able to, becoming more aware and reading this on a daily basis, you might come to a situation where you would just react, be triggered. And instead, because you're doing this on a daily basis, you're going to realize, wait a second, I have a choice how I react here. I can respond with compassion. I can respond with grace. I can respond with tenacity. I can respond with assertiveness. I can respond with a boundary. So those are all things of who we become. How do we become? Action. Only way to become. We can read it. We can do it. I mean, we can listen. We can write journals about it. But until we execute it, there will be no change in who we become. All right. Last one is close in prayer. Now, for those of you that aren't prayers, meditate. Meditate on what is good and honorable and praiseworthy and all the things. So close in prayer. Proverbs 16:9 says, in their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. So as you're beginning your day or whenever it's right for you, you guys don't make these legalistic like rules on yourself. Like I have to do my Y walk every morning before at the 5 o'clock club because that's just what I have to do. You're putting undue pressure on yourself. You're putting undue burdens on yourself. It's legalism. And then if you expect other people to do that because that's what you think you should do, then that's a lot of legalism. So don't do that. Don't do that to others and don't do it to yourself. Find a way that works for you. Have grace for yourself, but don't let yourself off the hook. Hold yourself accountable because you want what you want. You want what's coming down the road for you, but it's not going to come easy and it's not going to come without action. You have to do the thing. So recently I made a decision because I read so much about cold plunging and I read and I listened and I read and I listened. I wasn't, is this just one of those things that's a fad that's going to come and go? Is it just being marketed? Because sometimes that's the case, right? And I just kept reading. I'm like, you know what? It's not, it's real. And I want the results of what comes with cold plunging. So the day after Christmas, I had announced it to some people that would care at Christmas, that or a few days before, that I'm going to start cold plunging. Who wants to do it with me? Well, my son and my brother-in-law want to do it with me. So I said, okay, day after Christmas, such and such a time. We live on a little lake, so it's easy when it's cold to cold plunge here. And so I made this decision, and I made the decision because I want the results. So I'm here warm. Over here is cold. On the other side of cold consistency is less inflammation, focus, I mean, all the things that come with cold plunging. Okay, so I'm here. All the cold is here. The results are here. So I had to make a decision. So my brother-in-law showed up that day. We hopped in the water. I hopped in and I hopped out, screaming. I actually cussed a little. I just want y'all to know. I wasn't proud of myself, but it was really cold. So I did it that day. The next day I did it. I stayed in about 10 seconds longer. Then the next day and 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 the next day. Now I can sit in. I haven't been in it for about 10 days since I've been sick, but now I can sit in that cold water for 5 minutes. Do I walk out there after? Usually I do it after I'm working out. Do I walk out there going, oh, this is so easy. It's so easy. No, I go out there thinking, Stephanie, you want the results of what this does. You love your family. You want to be here for them. You love your grandchild. You want him to see all the things that life can bring him through the eyes of a grandparent who has been on the earth longer. You want all these things. You have to do this. So that's why I can walk out there freezing my hiney off and get in that water and get out. And every time I get out, you guys, $1,000,000. I feel like $1,000,000. I've conquered. You know what it is? It's the mind. It's the battlefield of the mind. So I conquered the battlefield of mind when you have a brainstem, right? And it's the same thing when we're going to go pick up that phone or we're going to text somebody off of our chicken list, or we're going to go and we're going to find a booth, or we're going to go put a facial box out, or we're going to go talk to daycare to do a, connect with moms on Mother's Day, or we're going to, I mean, the networking opportunities in our Mary Kay business are endless, right? And none of us are hurting for ideas. What we're hurting for is the implementing the idea. So if you want the results that come after the idea, you have to do that hard thing. When we go to do that hard thing, we go into our brainstem and we get scared. We do fight or flight, right? And so the more we can learn to control that fight or flight and not let it be the boss of us, and let those doubts and distractions and diversions keep us away from our why, the more people will be impacted. The more you'll be impacted, the more I'll be impacted, the more people will be impacted. So how do we do that? We keep it in the forefront of our mind. Because what you think about, you will bring about. It's how our minds work. It's how God created us. So sometimes we have to unpack old stuff and put in new. This will do it. So walk your why walk every morning, not legalistically, but put it into your world. So then you're going to be quicker to go here than you will go to, oh, I can't, who do I think I am? Like, do you really think you're going to be able to earn a car in America? Do you really think you're going to be a director? Like, that's just for those special people like that. I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. I'm not this enough. And let me just tell you, last thing I'm going to close with you guys is you aren't enough. None of us are. We've been told a lie that when somebody says to you, you're enough, you're not. I think that this is my personal opinion. Step 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll read them back to you in a second. I just saw that comment. Oh yeah, I see that I might have missed one, but I'll get there. Okay, I'll get back to that. I just want to say this because I think it's just really been I think it's really been a lie we've been taught recently, is that we're enough. We're not enough. That's why we have people in our world. That's why God gave us each other. With each other, we're enough. With God, we're enough because He's enough. But we're never going to be enough. We're going to always fall short. But that's okay because we have access to the one who doesn't fall short, and He gives us each other. So be an encouragement to yourself, and don't look for all the answers inside you because you'll be going in a circle. Okay, let me read them to you. Gratitude and mission. Why? Here, let me do this. It's personal, you guys. Okay, let me do it this way. This is what it looks like. Can you see that? So gratitude, mission. Why? The people, the moments, the best self, and then prayer. Gratitude, mission. Why? People, moments, best self, prayer. And I hope yours is really personal too, that like when I have people over, I make sure that just gets slid into something. So let me tell you guys how wonderful and amazing you are. Let me tell you that you are here on purpose. And let me assure you that your dreams are for reasons. They are for reasons. But the dream cannot be the idol, the end all be all, because you'll get to that dream and it won't be enough. So recognize that there's always going to be more, because we serve a mighty, unending God that is more than we can ever imagine. So, my friends, thank you for your time with me today, and I appreciate you listening and learning. And if you want more on that and you want a little booklet that goes with it, go to the Pink Post community. And I think it's under shop resources is where you'll find a little workbook. So just a little side note.
Love that.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you so much, Stephanie. That was amazing. You're incredible. My friends have just started talking me into the cold, I don't know what you call it, cold, hot,
Cold plunge. I know
yeah,
it's
cold
fun.
plunge
Yeah.
things. I mean, because they have like little, you can get little blown up ones or whatever. But
Yeah. I'll
yeah,
probably have to do that in the summer.
yes, yes. So, oh my gosh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. for your time, even when you didn't feel good. Girls, thank you so much for being on this week's Lunch and Learn. And I will get the recording. I tell them, give me 24 hours, but usually by evening or morning, I'm usually getting the recording from YouTube posted for everybody. And again, Stephanie, thank you for your time, your devotion to all of us. I love you, ladies. I hope you all have a terrific Thursday.
Bye.
Bye, friends.